When Samsung announced the S24 Ultra, I thought that it was one of the most boring updates ever. But now that I've used it for about a week, I have to say that I was wrong. And being a big iPhone fan, I want to share with you guys why I think that this phone is better than the 15 Pro Max after using it. Now, I need to start off with the design. Samsung copied Apple in many ways. First, we have titanium, and honestly, I don't think it makes a big difference at all. You can't really tell because it didn't do much for the phone compared to the S23 Ultra, whereas with the iPhone, these things got a lot lighter. Now, surprisingly, what does make a huge difference is that the glass is now flat. For many years, Samsung embraced these crazy curves and they slowly tapered it back, but holding the S23 and the S24 feels much more modern. It looks clean with super thin, even bezels all around, and it makes the display look much bigger than my iPhones. Now, with that said, that is not the only difference in the display. What shocked me and everybody else at Max Tech is how little reflections you have in the screen. Apple had great screens and the best anti-reflectivity for years, but this S24 Ultra makes the iPhone look bad. Not only because the blacks look super dark and pure black, but also because now the screen is ultra bright. Now, Android manufacturers quote super high nit ratings all the time, and for years the Samsungs weren't actually brighter in most use cases, but now, even in manual mode, if you max it out, the screen is brighter. Same thing for outdoors, it's a noticeable difference, and especially with the anti-reflectivity, this screen has just amazed me each time that I pick up the phone. It kind of reminds me when I bought my first Samsung, the original Galaxy with the OLED display, and this is actually the first time since then where a display really surprises me, and I think that is a massive difference for anybody with an older Samsung. Now, I love that the hole punch is tiny compared to my iPhone. It makes watching videos so much nicer. Now, Samsung also managed to make this phone thinner than the previous ones while packing in a bigger punch, which is surprising. And because of that, you don't really want to get a case that is super thick and bulky. And you guys probably noticed I have the Pitaka Mag Easy Case 4 on here. It is extremely thin, very lightweight. You practically don't notice it while adding extra protection. It's made from aramid fiber, and that makes it more tactile and grippy. And this right here is the sunset color, but you also have the choice of your standard black and gray design, which is really nice. Now, probably my biggest disappointment with the S24 Ultra is that Samsung did not put in wireless charging magnets, but this case actually has MagSafe built right in, so you can get that perfect alignment. And no, it does not interfere with your S Pen when you're using the case, as long as you're not stacking a bunch of other accessories. Pitaka also has some screen protectors, so if you're looking for an ultra thin, really nice case, I'll go ahead and link them down below. Now, the next thing that really surprised me is the performance. Of course, we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 inside of here, and I was shocked to see how close the CPU performance was to the iPhone. And with that, in daily use, all apps launch super quick, just as fast as on the iPhone. The multitasking is great, super smooth at scrolling. I mean, there's no issues. I've had issues with Samsungs before where you'd have a little glitchiness, slowdowns, but this thing is incredibly fast. And then when it comes to gaming performance, it is embarrassing. Apple's 3nm A17 Pro gets smoked and destroyed by the 4nm Qualcomm chip. And with that, the actual gaming experience was also excellent. I maxed out all of the settings, I played for a while, and the phone didn't even get warm. The thermal design in here is great, unlike Apple, which doesn't do anything at all and it gets really hot. It starts to slow down. This thing is incredible at gaming. And of course, we also have the S Pen and all of the AI stuff that Samsung really talked about. Now, the S Pen is great. I typically play around with it for a little bit, but I can never get into a daily habit of using it, even when I was consistently using Samsung phones a while back. But as far as AI, I think the coolest real world thing for me was being able to just delete stuff out of photos. This works super fast, it works well, and it's something that is useful for regular people. Of course, you can circle things to search. I don't know how much I would be using that, but Samsung is making a much better push into AI than what Apple is doing. And now we have to talk about the cameras. The crazy thing is that Samsung, after years of having 10x cameras, actually followed Apple after making fun of them for having a 5x and put in a 5x themselves. Now, the other cameras didn't really change from the S23 Ultra. So we have that 200 megapixel, and sometimes there's a little bit of issues with the photos. They still need more software tuning, but the new 5x lens is incredible. In daytime, we have better quality than the iPhone and the latest Pixel. They all have 5x cameras. For nighttime shots, we get some great quality. So the low light performance at night is much better than it was before with the 10x. So that lens is great. And I love that we can now take portrait shots with that 5x lens. So I think that was a smart move by Samsung. And the only real complaint that I'll say about the cameras is that 3x lens. It's an old lens, and I don't know why they still have it in there. It made sense when they had a 10x to have a 3, but now the Pixel and iPhone, they'll digitally crop into 3x and it looks better than this dedicated lens. So I think that's really the only bummer and the only lens that you probably will not use. But what I have to say is that even after a week, when I pick this thing up and I hold it, it feels great. The display is absolutely gorgeous. It works really well. And I think honestly, guys, if I could have iOS software in the hardware of the S24 Ultra, I would gladly switch over. And it's not the software is bad, just iPhone really locks you into their ecosystem if you use an Apple Watch, if you use Macs, other Apple accessories. So it really is kind of hard to switch over, or almost impossible unless you're gonna miss out based on other things that you use that are really helpful. But for those that are not stuck in that ecosystem, this phone is really, really good. Even though it seemed like a really boring minor update, it is a great update and a great user experience compared to the previous generations. So thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and click that circle above to subscribe. Check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I'll see you in the next one.